Hello guys, today we're doing my Parramatta Eels season review. Let's just get started. First up, in round 1, they played the Brisbane Broncos. And it was they were down 16-0 at half time. They came back and with a dominant second half performance to beat the Broncos 24-16. Next up, against the Melbourne Storm at Bankwest Stadium. This was a very low-scoring game, as you can see, 16-12. Mike Acevo with an amazing game-winning try. It was beautiful to watch. That was a great game in the pouring rain. It was 6-all at halftime, and it was. In the 60th minute, it was 6-all. Junior Paulo put the Eagles in front. Remus Smith. I think it was actually Olam, wasn't it? Or it was Justin Olam scoring. It was 12-all. Mitchell Moses put up a high kick. Sevo catches it, beats Jennings for the second time, and scores a second try. Beautiful. Next up at Bankwest Stadium was a scoreline that doesn't reflect how the game went. It was a very close, gritty game. But the Eels, late in the game, carved the Sharks up. The Sharks lost their entire bench to injury, so that was pretty bad for the Sharks, and that's why the Eels won so handily. Next Stadium Australia against the West Tigers. They played pretty bad, the Eels. Tigers gave them a little bit of a scare, but the Eels won 36-22. Next up, at Bankwest Stadium, they got upset and smashed by the Dragons. I know it's only like a 14-point difference, but the Dragons destroyed them. Like, the whole game, it was all the Dragons. The Eels, they had nothing go their way. They had, I think, some sin bins. The Dragons kind of pummeled them. Next up in Canberra, they won 35-10, and they won in Canberra for the first time in 15 years and broke the hoodoo. The Eels, it was like 12-10 at halftime to the Eels. It was very gritty first half, very one-sided second half to the Eels, and that's where the faders came in. Next up in Darwin, so they go from Canberra all the way to Darwin, and they play the Brisbane Broncos, and they smashed them 46-6. The Broncos got pummeled. Scored. Next up, against the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs at Stadium Australia. In the first half, it was 16-0 to the Parramatta Eels. They were up 22-0. The Bulldogs scored 2 tries, and that was pretty good, but the Eels kind of ran away with it to win 32-10. Next up at Bankwest Stadium against the Sydney Roosters. 31-18. Very good game. This was a great game at Bankwest. The Eels won. They won 13+, but they won by 13. It was definitely a good game, though. Next up at Magic Round, I went to this game. The Eels dominated in the second half, 24-6 at halftime. But the second half was alright. The Warriors came out Yeah. Next up, at Bank West against the Manly Eagles. Well, that was something. This game had something left to be desired about the Parramatta Eels. They were the favourites going into this game, and they got pummeled 28-6 at home. The Eagles destroyed them. Next up, against the South Sydney Rabbitohs, they got smashed 38-20. Next up, at McDonald Jones Stadium against the Newcastle Knights, they won 40-4 and absolutely smashed them. They scored 8 tries and they converted 4 and missed 4. So yeah. Next up at Bankwest Stadium against the West Tigers, where they kind of pummeled the Tigers. But, they were alright, I guess. There was 3 sin-bins in the match, so. Next up at Bankwest Stadium, they were actually down 10-6 at half-time against the Bulldogs, but they came out roaring in the second half and won 36-10. Next up at Bluebet Stadium was a thriller in Penrith. The Panthers won. They lost 13-12 to the Panthers. A thriller, might I say. It was a great game. Moses missed a conversion on the sideline that would have gave them the win. Round 17 by round 18 on the Gold Coast against the Titans, where the Eels, they did all the work in like the first 70 minutes, up 26-0. Titans scored 2 tries on a disallowed one, which I think should have been given. But the Eels, they still smashed the Titans. Next up on the Gold Coast was a great game. It was 0-0 at halftime. And, well, it was pretty. Second half, that was. Wow. The Canberra Raiders, they lost 12-10 to the Canberra Raiders in again, a great game. I bet Bankwest wouldn't be happy with that. Next, in Mackay against the Sydney Roosters, they got smashed 28-0. I think it was like 10-16-0 at halftime or something like that. Eels would add a couple of tries, I think, that were kept to 0. Next up, on the Gold Coast against the South Sydney Rabbitohs, they got smashed 40-12. And they were really in a slump of form, weren't they? As they went on to play the Manly Eels, and again, they got smashed 56-10. 56-10. It's disappointing. Next up, against the North Queensland Cowboys, they finally got a win. 32-16. Next up, one of, if not their best win of the year, against the Melbourne Storm, ending their 19-game winning streak, winning 22-10, giving the Storm their biggest loss of the year. Next, finally, for the regular season against the Penrith Panthers, they had their reserve grade set up basically, so they lost 40-6. Finally, up in Rockhampton against the Newcastle Knights, They got lucky, the Eels, but I think they still would have won if they didn't get the penalty try. So, yeah. Finally, final game against the Penrith Panthers. Arguably the game of the year. Let me just... So look at that. It was a scoreless second half. The Eels and the Panthers put up a real gritty match to the lowest scoring game of the year. 8-6. This was a great game. Penrith beat them again. The Eels were, again, they were not bad. They were good. So were Penrith. It was a great game. Eels fans should not be mad. Okay, they should be a little bit mad that they lost, but like they shouldn't have. At least they didn't lose by 50 or something, 40. You know, like they really played well. And Eels, good performance. I didn't really. The only really thing bad is losing Keegan Hipgrave, obviously. Nathan Brown. I'm not losing Nathan, but I'm losing Keegan Hipgrave to retirement. Will Smith to the Titans. And they're not getting anyone, so yeah. I think they're getting anyone at least. Yeah. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.